Hello.
Hello.
Today we
Good
embark.
afternoon.
Good
Do you hear
afternoon.
you
Yes,
hear me loud and clear, yeah?
I hear you loud and clear. Thank you
Awesome.
for coming.
You're very welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, today we embark on a journey of
Okay.
self-discovery and growth as we delve into the exciting world of adapting to life in the Netherlands. This interview is a unique opportunity for newcomers to unlock their full potential in this new and foreign land. So, I am talking today with Paul Nilsen-Borrell, who came to the Netherlands from England and who will share some secrets of how to adapt to a new culture, language, job, and people. Let's start with introductions. My name is Tsarina. I speak 6 languages, and I have recently written the book 32 Brilliant Ways to Survive and Thrive in a New Country. A new language is a new life. So I can help newcomers integrate in the Netherlands and discover what it means to be successful, how to be happy, and how to live a meaningful life in the Netherlands. Paul, would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, well, awesome. I guess that's what you want to know about me. My name is Paul Nilsen-Borrell. I'm originally from London, England. I live in the Netherlands, or I should say, ik woon in Middelburg for 4 jaar nu. So I live in the Netherlands for around 4 years. Originally from London, and yeah, I suppose that's where I start. I come from people of different descents, and this is where I live. And I write here, I live here, I work here. This is where I live and where I enjoy to be. I suppose as a brief overview,
Yes,
that's what
great.
brings me to this day speaking with Tsarina as well. So,
Very
Tsarina, you should fire more questions at me. Tell me.
Yeah. Why did you decide to move to the Netherlands?
Um, I suppose deciding was something different. Originally, I came here to start a business with a Dutchman. So, a long story short, many years ago when I was in my young 20s, I skateboarded from Norway back to London for charity, and it took me 4.5 months. I was backpacking basically,
Oh,
but I met a man once I came back to the Netherlands, and we became friends. And he had a Croatian wife who was a professional dancer, and they came to London to audition for dance shows. I came to the Netherlands for various things. And then years later, we spoke, and he said he wanted to engage with some of his old friends and people that he knew that have done things. And would I be willing to come to the Netherlands to talk about a work opportunity? So I, in all honesty, I got on my motorcycle and I took a ride to the Netherlands. I re-engaged with a friend, and we discussed an idea, a business idea, and I didn't go back. That was it, really. I stayed. We talked about the business opportunity. I accepted an offer, and I applied for my BSN number. So, a Dutch social security number, I suppose.
mhm.
And that was it, really. That was it.
And
That was the start.
what business are you in?
It's in food supplements, cosmetics, but specializing in hemp extraction. So working with CBD oil, cosmetics, capsules, food supplements,
That's
specializing, I
very,
suppose.
very nice.
So it's business to business, bulk and white private label. So if Tsarina, you said I have a little bit of spare capital and I'm looking to invest in a wellness sector or a beauty business or something like this, then we would help formulate products to your specification
Mhm.
and obviously help you with the consultancy and everything that gets your products on the shelf, on the market, so to speak. So,
Okay.
so that's it in a weird way. Yeah,
Interesting.
it started in a very weird way from my youth, but I made some connections and I decided to emigrate to the Netherlands, or I decided to stay,
Mhm.
and I'm still here. I'm happily still here. So yeah.
And can you tell me about a specific thing you had never done before and that you're starting doing in the Netherlands?
Yeah, well, I suppose there's quite a few. I cycle everywhere. I used to skateboard everywhere. Now I have a bicycle. I go everywhere. And obviously, it's a very friendly country to get around in that respect. Something that I've never ever done elsewhere. I suppose what I've never done is been in a place where I don't really have any native friends here. So when it comes to socializing, I'm very lucky with my linguistics and my language. I'm not a 6 language speaker like yourself. I'm not so talented. But I
But your
suppose
English is excellent.
yeah, well, I could speak more properly for everybody if it would make it easier for them to understand. But no, I think in general, it's a really tough question. Some things that I've never done, I suppose, like I say, I cycle everywhere I go. I live a totally different life here than from where I came from. So everything's a little bit different in a way. It's your pace of life. That would be the right question. It's the pace. Something that I do different here is my pace of life. I don't where I came from was very hectic, was very busy all the time, and it was very demanding, and I lived my life by a different pace. I suppose that is the biggest change. It's
So
a weird
you
answer, but it's the truth. That's something that I do completely differently in that way.
and you mean that the life here is very slow?
It's not that, I mean, it's as slow or as fast as you want it to be, but I think the culture and the pace of life. Obviously, if I was living in, say, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, bigger cities in the Netherlands, then it demands more from you constantly.
Right.
But I live as a background, I'm living in the southwest side of the Netherlands in a region called Zeeland. So the pace of life is a bit slower here. You have the ocean nearby. And I think your environment also changes your approach and your pace to life. So something that I've done differently here or that I've never done before is probably live at this pace because I'm used to such a fast-paced life.
Right.
And that's the main thing that stands out to me, to be honest, in answer to the question.
Wow, yeah. And describe a situation in which you embraced a certain cultural aspect of the Netherlands, the language and the people.
Say again, sorry, Tsarina, could you say that again?
Yeah, could you describe a situation in which you embraced a certain cultural aspect of the Netherlands, the language and people, that was a major departure from the old way of how you did things in your old country?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost every day. You know, I'm quite a social person, so I go to a lot of events. I go to a lot of cultural events. So here in Zeeland, for example, we have multiple revolving festivities, music, arts, culture, and it's very social. So I couldn't again highlight one independent thing, but it's a whole package of various things. But yeah, I mean, maybe could you ask the question again, just so maybe I think of something else that comes to light.
Yeah, so maybe you have a specific situation in which you embrace a certain cultural aspect of the Netherlands, or maybe language or people. You already told a little bit about that, but maybe some more specific things or situation.
Yeah, I mean,
Remember?
maybe obviously we're here. You run a language school, so let's talk about the language. So I mean, it's there's certain situations that, for example, I think the Dutch is the best English speaking language that I've ever come across. I will say that. So in other countries that I've lived in, I lived in Norway for a little while. I lived in Ireland for a little while, and I've travelled. I travel, somewhat. But the Dutch are very very keen to try their English. So as a native English speaker, they're very keen to want to open up. So sometimes I will say like alsjeblieft, praat in Nederlands for mij, ik leer dat te praat Nederlands. No, you must speak English. You must speak English. And they almost demand me to want to speak English sometimes. So when it comes to my Netherlands, maybe this is an answer to the question. I have to ask, no, we must try this in Dutch.
Right.
Because I have to impose that will to want to proceed in Dutch. So I suppose in terms of like cultural situations, these kind of things, sometimes I have to force myself to ask the Dutch people, can we please speak in Dutch? Because people want to revert to English. For me, it's easier because I can get my message across to a lot of people in English. My character, my understanding, people can understand me well, I can understand them well. So there's a common ground in English. When you switch to Dutch, it's a lot more challenging because you can't convey your character so well. So it's a lifetime of learning, really. And I think even once, let's say I become a fluent Dutch speaker one day, it will still be, people would still hear me from a mile away, that I'm not a Zeeuwsman or an original Nederlands mensen. So yeah, there you go. I think that's an answer.
It's true, yeah. It's the Netherlanders are very polite and try to make it easy for you. But on the other side, it's better. It would be better for you if they speak Dutch with you, so you could learn quickly, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it would help accelerate the learning process.
Yeah.
But it's a tough learning process because you're on your own. If you see what I mean. Anybody that's listening to this, you're in a new country where you don't understand a language, and it's quite a complex language, but my understanding, my ear has got very prone to it, but my speaking is behind. But it's because I haven't forced myself to speak enough. That's just being honest. Because my native tongue allows me to integrate and speak, communicate with everybody. So that's a challenge.
I understand. Yeah.
Over to you, Tsarina.
Yeah. Describe a situation in which you were embarrassed or maybe ashamed or felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think I would come back to the same thing again, which is when I do iterate myself or try to pronounce things in Dutch, or I speak to Dutch people in Dutch, they end up laughing at me.
Oh.
But don't speak Dutch, just speak English with us. It's fine. And it's like, well, no, but I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to express myself. They end up laughing at me because of the way I pronounce Dutch. So it actually makes me feel a bit embarrassed that I don't want to do it, So I think it prohibited my learning somewhat. It did, because and most people, like I say, they just want to enjoy you in their environment. So the easiest way for them to enjoy me in their environment is for me to speak English rather than me catching up on 15 years of not speaking Dutch. So, but it embarrasses me, honestly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a pity.
Yeah.
Describe a time when you felt stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe disconnected with people or culture, and how did you handle it?
Say again, describe a time when I felt stressed or overwhelmed. Sorry, your audio cut out slightly.
Describe a time when you felt stressed or overwhelmed.
Well, I suppose, I don't know if it's culturally, I'm not sure. I mean, personally, professionally, I think we all have those things in our life. It doesn't matter where you live. But culturally, I suppose the same situation before, like when I'm trying to, I mean, I had an accident, for example. I had a motorbike crash. I broke my limbs, broke my leg in the Netherlands, and I manage administration. I run a house. I bought a house. I've done everything in translating paperwork, trying to learn words, translation, administration. Doing everything in a new language is quite stressful. It's quite challenging. So before you've learned to walk, you're already running. So when you're living in a new country and, for example, you buy a property or something, then you're investigating all of these paperworks and all of this stuff, and excuse my French, but you don't understand a bloody word of it, so to speak, when you're reading it. You've got to go through those baby steps, and you're learning to run before you can walk. So that would be my answer.
Oh, I like this expression.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest misconception that Dutch people here have about you, and why do they think so?
What is the biggest misconception that Dutch people have about me, and why do they think so? Do you know, I don't really have an answer to that one, Tsarina. I don't, misconceptions. I don't know. I'm quite frank with a lot of people. I think a lot of people that I know culturally and socially, they kind of know what I'm about. I have a good friendship network here. I don't know what the misconception is. I think a lot of people are estranged. They don't know why I'm here. The misconception is, why would you be here when you came from London? Why would you come here? For them, this is the big lights and the big city can be a nice thing to consider or to live or to be. So why would you come here? That's a misconception, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The misconception is, why would you trade what you had to be where you are now? I'd say.
Yeah. And do you ever feel judged?
No. No.
Oh, you're lucky then.
No. Yeah, no, I don't actually. I mean, sometimes it depends where you go. But generally, like I said, it's a very it's the most proficient country I've ever heard where people have spoken in English. So it's been very easy for me to integrate. And I think, given the historical context of the Netherlands and the English, for example, 500 years ago, in the 1600s, we were blowing, excuse my French again, but we were blowing the crap out of each other with cannon fodder at sea, trying to conquer the world. We were opposing nations. I think after the 1940s and the world wars, we see each other as compatriots. There was a big liberation effort in the Netherlands, particularly this area, from the English and the Canadians in the Second World War. So as an Englishman, I've been very well received here. So people are very polite, people are very understanding, people are interested in why you're here. Again, London too. So yeah, that's what I would have to say. People in general have been extremely welcoming, and I think they're understanding. They want to know about you. They want to know the whys, the whens, the wheres, every new person they meet. But why are you here? Everybody asks the same questions in a weird way. But they do it from a place of respect and from love, really. They do welcome. They do welcome. So.
Nice. And tell me about one of your favorite experiences in the Netherlands.
Like, what you mean, since I live in the Netherlands, or just in general?
Yes, since you live, or I don't know, in general.
Yeah, to be honest, I like the Netherlands has a lot of festival culture. So I'm into my music. I've been into music since I was quite young. But for example, Friends, there can be a free festivity in a certain part of the Netherlands where there's a big long blues festival. Everything's free. It's all gratis, as they say. So we'll jump in a car and we take a travel and we go and we do this. Or next weekend, there's a festivity here. Or even in my local city, there's a festivity here. They put a lot of emphasis and attention onto, it seems, providing things for their citizens.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice.
Always something to do. And I think, if in honesty, where I met yourself, Tsarina, was at a film festival. Film festivals. There's just so much festivities going on. I think would be my answer. There's always something going on that you can enjoy.
Nice. And what is the most surprising about the Dutch?
They don't surprise me. What surprises me? Their politeness surprises me.
Okay.
Yeah, how welcoming they are, or how intrigued they are to hear my story all the time. Every stranger that I seem to meet seems to be intrigued, which I know is going to be different for everybody that listens to this, because as I've spoken, I'm from a certain place, I speak a certain language, and that aids my integration in a way.
Yeah.
But that has surprised me in the long run still to this day. Like I say, 4 years I live here now. And yeah, that does surprise me.
Okay. And how do you make friends here in the Netherlands? And who are your friends?
How do I make friends? Everybody's my friend. I don't know, I'm joking. To be honest, I've always been quite a highly social person, so I'm into my music, music performances. I go out, you know, I go out, I talk to people. Who are my friends? I have friends in the music spaces. I have a partner here in the Netherlands. We perform music. We go and play music at times. We also, the Dutch people, everybody's has their own character. Everybody does their own thing all the time. Not everybody's cemented together all the time. So some evenings I will go out with certain friends. Some evenings I will go out with other friends. I go to concerts, you know. So I won't give names, but you know, I have friends. I think the Dutch is very much an evening culture as well. They're very social people. They go out. They call it like a bottle happy hour. You go out, you eat, you drink, and you talk with your friends, and you meet new friends. It's quite a highly social place, I think, to be honest.
And can you describe your best Dutch partner or friend, and what part of their character appeals to you?
Well, I live with my partner. She's a Dutch.
Yeah, how is she? What are your characters?
Well, she's how would I say? She's highly expressionable. She's a great singer. She's a musician. She's very social. She gets on with everybody. Everybody knows her in a way. And she works in what's called the horeca. So the how would I say, in the restaurant and cafe industry. So, you know, serving customers, talking to people, again, a highly social individual and a highly social position. So in entertainment, basically, she's an entertainer.
Okay.
So that's what draws. She's an entertainer. You know, that's why I like her, and she has her own vibrancy in that way. You know. Yeah.
And how to find a good friend? Maybe your advice for our listeners.
Right. That's just how to find a good friend. I don't know. I mean, one of my best friends in town, I met him, and I was playing dice to myself. I was playing a game at a local cafe. They have board games and they have things, and it's just a one-person game, and I was playing it. And one of my better friends that I know, he approached me and said, "Oh, you seem interesting. You're doing this, but how would I advise people to make good friends?" Well, look, just be yourself. Find the activities that you enjoy. Go to places and be social. Be polite. Be kind. And just express yourself how you naturally are. I wouldn't overextend yourself. I think just being who you are and taking your time. And I think you meet people in good time. I know that's not maybe the best advice, because everybody is different, Tsarina, at the end of the day. I have different character traits to a lot of people, but again, I enjoy a lot of things, and I put myself out there. So if there's a need to want to make friends, then I would say look inside the areas of things that you enjoy and put yourself out there. Just say, "Hey, I'm so and so," not to anybody, but hey, just make yourself present. Go and enjoy what you do, and you will make friends. People will say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" "Oh, it's interesting. You're interested in the same thing." "No." "Oh, we're here." Oh, it develops like that. And over time, from 4 years of being here, you know, I have a lot of historical long life friends from London, from other countries and things like this. But my closest friends now are here in the Netherlands, because this is where I live, and these are the people that talk to on the telephone. These are the people I say, hey, should we go to this music show or this art show or this exhibition? Or it all comes in time. All in good time is what I would say. Just put yourself out there and all in good time.
It's a good advice. And what are the topics the Dutch like to speak about?
Very much like the English. I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't think there's any particular topics they talk about. It depends who you talk to. Like I say, friends that I meet in certain avenues, then we talk about those topics, those ventures. Some Dutch people are mad about sports and football, Formula One, Max Verstappen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
It depends who you meet, Tsarina. I mean, they're very versatile people. Everybody has their own character, and everybody's individual here. They're very fiercely independent. So there's no one particular thing that they like to talk about in honesty.
And how do the Dutch look at newcomers?
I think it depends where you are. I think if you're in a big city somewhere like Amsterdam, then everybody's pretty much a newcomer. It doesn't matter if you've lived there for 20 years, you will walk past people in the street and you will always be strangers with them.
Right.
If you live in a smaller stud, a smaller city, like where I live, then they're intrigued, they're wary, because they all know each other from school. They all know each other everybody knows everybody in smaller cities, smaller towns. Yeah, right. So when there's a newcomer, they're very wary, they're very watchful, and they're intrigued. They want to know why you're here. Like I say, for earlier reasons. That's why they all ask the same questions, because they're almost trying to assess: is this a nice person? This is where it goes back to my previous question about put yourself out in the things that you enjoy, and just take your time. Because if you try and force things, don't force communication with people. Don't, just take your time, because people are wary, in my experience, in smaller cities. They want to understand you a little bit before they let you in. Yeah. This comes back to making friends as well. Sometimes I have some friends now that I'd seen various times, but we didn't talk for ages, and then finally you break the ice, so to speak. And you have a nice conversation, and then finally like, oh wow, I've always wondered, what you're doing here and why you're here, and this is my friend group, and it's a pleasure to meet you, kind of thing. So it can take time. People are wary, and because they have pride, they're all Dutch and they all speak their own language, and if you don't speak their language, you don't speak their language. So how do you fit into that box? That's the challenge. Yeah. And that's why we're speaking, so. Yeah. And tell me about something you really miss here in the Netherlands from England. Where? The culture. Oh, obviously my family, that's a given. I've been working here and developing business and building a life for myself, and I don't see my brother. He has children. My sister, she has a child. So the obvious answer is family and friends. You will miss them. It's the only thing I miss. I can say it's food, but I can cook that food here. I have. Okay. This I wanted to ask you. Do you miss some food, maybe? Yeah. No. Well, yeah. Certain ingredients, but you can still order these things. You can still do it. Food. I can still prepare a dinner like I was eating with my family, but my family's not here. So it's your family and your friends. That's the main thing you're going to miss. But as a reference, I'm 35 years old. So I grew up with my family, my friends. I have, lifelong friends and family, obviously. So of course you're going to miss your family and friends if you immigrate to another country and you start a fresh start, or you're studying, or you're pursuing a work opportunity. Then these are the decisions we make. Of course, we're not going to be hand in hand with our family for all our lives and our loved ones. That's just the way it is. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Family and friends, I think, is the most important thing. So that you miss.
And tell me about the biggest challenge you have had to deal with in the Netherlands, and how did you adapt to this challenge?
Maybe it reverts to what we said earlier, which is, I bought a house in the Netherlands now. I
Mm-hmm.
live here. This is my home.
Mm-hmm.
I call this home. So that was my biggest challenge, was overcoming, I suppose, firstly, the decision, and secondly, the process of going through that process and doing it on my own, buying it alone, developing my work, my business to get to a certain level where I could actually achieve that is pretty tough. And in 4 years, I suppose, to where I started and what I managed to achieve, I have to pat myself on the back a little bit. I don't want to boast, but it's been tough,
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest challenge, was the biggest challenge. And to the point where I said to myself, I'm going to stay. I want to stay. And I'm thinking about buying a house and then going through all of that, as I said, as administrative challenges, paperwork, notaries, everything. Every piece of paper that's coming through my letterbox is in Dutch. Every email that's coming in is in Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, when I get on the phone, I can speak, revert to English, revert to Dutch. That's the biggest challenge. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to study Dutch finally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what was the toughest decision you had to make in the last 6 months?
I don't know, Tsarina. I don't know.
And
About 6 months ago, I moved into this house. This was the house I bought.
yeah.
So the toughest decision that I've made in the last 6 months, I suppose it's about how you spend your time. Goes back to the last question about I should go and visit my family and my friends, because this is my life, this is my home.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a decision every single day to do something with yourself or for yourself. And I think, even though I live here and this is my home, sometimes every week, every day, I think I should just put the pen down, put the computer down, take a boat, take the motorbike, go and see your family, go and see your friends, go and show your sister some love, go and show your brother some love. That's probably the toughest decision that I have, is that it's not a decision, but it's that I've decided not to do that more regularly. Because, like I say, going back to the last question, it's the most important thing that you miss is your upkeep of your friends, the upkeep of your family, or your roots, because
Right.
although I can learn to speak Dutch, although I live here, I will
Mm-hmm.
never be a Dutchman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the difference, because you have to respect and know that you have your roots.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, for me, that's something I explore. A lot of people will immigrate to the Netherlands because they have a more harsh background. Maybe they don't have loving friends, a loving family. And I totally respect that. And I'm empathetic. I have empathy towards that. And I understand that's why some people immigrate. But we're all individuals, and I also have a background. So the toughest decision is not going to see the people that I love
Mm-hmm.
enough,
Yeah, yeah, I understand. And what's the biggest goal you have achieved here?
The biggest goal that I've achieved, well, look, I have a relatively happy life, like I say, I bought my first house that I own on this whole entire planet. I have a place that I can call my own, fully
Mm-hmm.
my own. I can do what I want in the garden. I can build, I can drill holes in the wall, I can hang things up, I can dance around bloody naked if I want to. It's mine. So in terms of a goal, I think everybody will, a house. I don't want to be so materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about materials, but obviously we're talking to an audience, and for a lot of people that are immigrating, that's a goal, is to establish themselves,
Yeah,
have a home for themselves. So I suppose to the generic audience, that's a pretty big goal. It's been a big thing for me.
yeah,
So I have a home.
yeah. Nice, nice. Congratulations. It's
No,
a
thanks.
good
Well,
achievement,
it
and
doesn't come without hard work. There's always hard work involved.
yeah,
Um,
it's
if
true.
you're not born into fortune or into money and these kind of things, which I wasn't,
Yeah, Okay.
then you work for it and take your time, all in good time, you know, and just seize the day, seize your opportunities. If you get an opportunity, take it and embrace it and work hard. So yeah.
So, and what is your vision for future?
I don't know right now, Tsarina. I don't know if I can answer that
know.
question. You know, I'm
Very
kind of
difficult question.
yeah, I'm living on the present day, and I think once I have a degree of security here. I still have responsibilities because I live here. Like I say, the last question, I have a home, I have responsibilities, I have everything to manage. A vision for the future, Tsarina, is happiness. I think everybody wants happiness, and they want companionship and they want friendship. And if that may continue, fantastic. That's it.
Nice. And here are some questions about learning a new language, just because firstly you need to learn Dutch here. So you speak good English. So for you, it's not a problem, but finally you need to study Dutch. And can you explain why is it so important to learn a new language quickly? What do you
Yeah, absolutely. I think the importance from this perspective is, again, the integration. If you don't speak such proficient English, it will be challenging. It will be challenging here because people speak Dutch, they speak fantastic English, they will also speak some German, some French, some Spanish. You hear a lot of languages, but the importance is, like I say, socially in the workplace, so professionally and socially. I mean, they're the two main areas where you're going to expand and talk to people.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah.
And like I say, even if when my Dutch becomes more proficient, and let's say I become a fluent speaker one day, my dialect will still be recognized. So I think as I speak more Dutch phrases and I integrate with certain friends and I pronounce things in Dutch, they appreciate it. So it's about integration, you know, people, they want you to try, they want you to keep pushing, but at the same time, in my circumstance, they just try to revert to English and I have to refrain and say, no, please, let's try. But it's highly important if you're going to live here and you're not a proficient English speaker, or maybe you have some broken English, it's just highly important. I think people welcome you more so when you try your Dutch. When you do it, they're surprised. They're so used to talking English with most of the world. If you go to Amsterdam, for example, even if I visit a major city like Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Den Haag, for example, and I go into a shop and I speak Dutch, I put my order in Dutch for a cup of coffee or something to eat, or they say, oh, can you speak? Sorry, I don't speak Dutch. So there's a lot of people that work in hospitality, and all kinds of sectors in major cities that are there in the Netherlands that they don't speak a bloody word of Dutch. And I think when it comes to making social circles and things, just people seem to welcome you and warm more to you once they realize you're here to stay and you're learning their language. So that's the importance.
Yeah. So I would like to thank you for this interview. And if you know somebody struggling with the language, I will be happy to help to learn Dutch or English. So enjoy the journey called life and go for it.
Let's
And
try it, huh?
yeah, trying and enjoy your life here.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Tsarina. Sorry if I waffle on and I keep over speaking all of you too much on your questions, but it's been a pleasure.
No, it's been a pleasure, and wishing you feel more success in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And also to all of your listeners, you know, I wish them all the best. And like I say, take your time.